What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Once again, it's your boy Nev from Nev's Tech Bits. Today I want to talk about conspiracy theory. And the reason why I think it deserves to be on a tech channel is because if you've been on the internet for any amount of time, if you've been on Facebook for 5 minutes, you've seen conspiracy theories. You've heard conspiracy theories. You've heard a lot of outrageous things. Some of the outrageous things that I've heard recently are shape-shifting lizard people that control our government that come from the Andromeda Galaxy, which is on Orion's belt. I've also heard the Earth is flat. I've heard a lot of crazy things. 9/11 was an inside job. Jet fuel can't melt steel beams. And I'm going to give you a good reason of why a lot of intelligent people find this to be fact. Now, I solely blame the government. I solely blame the Snowden leaks. I solely blame the way the government spies on its people and other people. So, if you haven't looked into the Snowden stuff, I really suggest that you do. So the stuff that was released in the Snowden leaks is so unconscionable that a person from 10 years before would think you were just outrageous, would think you were out to lunch if you were talking about this stuff. So one thing a lot of people don't understand is that the Snowden leaks revealed that if you have a questionable person, anyone they talk to, the NSA can get into their cameras. The NSA can get onto their microphones. The NSA can get all kinds of information from them, sometimes without going to a court, but a lot of times by going through a secret court. People wouldn't even believe that there was a secret court. Okay, so they're checking out this this friend of a terrorist, an unreasonable person. Anybody that guy is friends with, can be investigated. They can get into their devices. We can get into what devices they can get into, but I guarantee the NSA can get into a computer at any given time. I guarantee that the NSA has had access to your Xbox Connect at one time or another for security. Now, all of these things that are being released, even the false flag information, there are multiple false flag declassified documents of the government saying that the United States government saying that they either did or they were thinking about making a false flag attack. It's unconscionable. So these are our leaders. These are our leaders doing things that are so unconscionable that we wouldn't have believed them. So you got to wonder, how far does the rabbit hole go? If the government's lying to us, if the NSA is lying to the government about what's going on, if the government is lying to their people about what's going on, if there's so much insider trading, so much insider this, that, and the other thing, where only the government's looking after the rich, how far does the rabbit hole go? You know what? With the way that the United States government is about healthcare and the way all the elites are about healthcare, what is it, $100 for a bag of $300 for a bag of saline solution. I'm pretty sure that's just salt in a bag because of the way things going. That seems the way a lot of people would think with their lizard minds. Now, okay, I'll stop right there. Lizard minds. If you haven't heard of it, the idea of, let's say you go to work and you don't want to think of a new way to solve problems. You don't want to think about a new way of doing things. You just kind of open the book. Let's go by the book. Let's go by what normal things are. Not even best practices, but let's just go by the way things are doing. My old buddy used to say, I'm just doing this on autopilot. I'm just doing it. He wasn't using his brain at all. That is a lizard person. That is a person thinking with their lizard mind, being a lizard person. I can believe that. I have a hard time believing that they're actually shape-shifting lizard people. But I do believe that there are people, when they're off camera, are one person, and when they're on camera, are a completely different person. When they're off camera, they're thinking with their lizard mind. Hence the lizard people. I can believe that. I can definitely believe that. And when you get into the Snowden leaks about things that the government has done, has been doing, the false flag attacks, that it's been released, this information is out there, official information too. I'm going to try to get it all together and leave links in the description. But you really wonder how far the rabbit hole goes. Back in the day, I read all the conspiracy theories. I downloaded about 100 gigabytes full of different conspiracy theories. And I had a good idea of what could be real and what maybe wasn't. And I like to think of conspiracy theories like a comic book, a really bad comic book, especially from like the Silver Age, where there's a super pets, there's a super monkey, a super horse. It was entertaining. It was very entertaining. But at the end of the day, you got to close the book and you got to realize, you got to come back to reality. But it is getting increasingly hard to do that when you find out what unconscionable people at the top are doing. So I really solely place the blame for all these conspiracy theorists on unreasonable actions by the government, especially when you think of the Snowden leaks, especially when you think about the oh, okay. So 10 years ago, people from the military, people, ex-military people say, you know, Nevin, some people say there are miles of underground servers where people used to listen in on calls. And then stuff got declassified. And when they were super drunk, declassified information, declassified, saying we listened in on people. We couldn't do anything about it. Technically, we shouldn't have been doing it, but we were. We were listening in on people. And then the Snowden leaks come. And then things get declassified. And we find these attempted or flat out done false flag attacks by the government. The NASA is attached to the United States government, kinda. So we get a lot of people out there thinking, you know what, maybe this world is flat. Because they don't trust the government. Because the government is so unconscionable. Because it's only looking after the 1%. I gotta say, in the United States, if you look, if you watch what's going on as closely as maybe you don't have time. You know what, at the end of the day, we're frickin' tired. We work 8 hours a day, most of us. By the time we get home, our minds are blown. We just want to sit down and we want to relax. We don't want to have to think. Because I gotta say, a lot of us out there in factories, working hard, by the time they get home, you don't want to think. You don't want to think about any of this stuff. You just want to chill. And God bless your hearts. God bless all of us. But at the end of the day, we're so fried, we don't want to think about this kind of stuff. But for those of us who do, they come to some unreasonable places based off some of the unreasonable things that they have seen. There's a lot going on out there. There is a hell of a lot going on out there. And to prove some of these unreasonable things, when the NSA leaks came out, suddenly internet lines started to be made a little bit differently. I Google undersea cables. So if information has to get from point A to point B, it has to go through other internet service providers. Within Canada, there aren't a lot of cables that go over to the UK, over to China, Asia, all of these places. All roads go through the USA for the most part. Not all of them, but for the most part. All go through the USA. The USA has the ability to pick up on this stuff. Which is also, by the way, the reason that if net neutrality is killed, it's going to affect all Canadians and possibly almost everybody. But at the end of the day, the reason why there are so many conspiracy theorists that are so sure about all this stuff is because we know the government's been lying to us. It's almost funny how much we can tell that the government only likes the rich. In the States, it's a farce. It's hilarious. Everyone seems to think they're rich, so they want to blame the poor. The upper class is the middle class blaming the poor class. That's just how it goes. That's just how it is. It's unconscionable, and that's why people believe that there are unconscionable reptiles running things. I totally believe that that's what's going on anyways. So the crazier it turns out that the government has been, the crazier we start thinking of things. Okay, I'm going to leave you with this last one. People who are part of these groups that are raised to lead the world, the Bushes, the Kennedys. Barbara Bush killed somebody. She didn't mean to. She went through a stoplight and she killed her ex-boyfriend. She hit him. She got off with it. No charges. Try having that happen to some black guy in Chicago. Okay, JFK was there. JFK was elected. They didn't want JFK originally. They wanted his brother. I forget what his name was. His brother got into an accident. Didn't tell anybody. This accident had the passenger killed. He didn't tell anybody. He didn't. No, not. You know, you're JF. You're a Kennedy. We'll let you off. Stuff like that. If you're rich, you have a different set of rules than if you're poor. And things are different when you're at the top. It's unbelievably expensive to get health care. But I think it was McCain ended up having a brain tumor, and the government paid for it. If you're a poor black person in Chicago, that ain't happening. So once again, things are so unconscionable, especially in the States, that people of normally reasonable minds start thinking unconscionable things. So that's it for me. Nev from Nev's Tech Bits. That's why I believe that so many people believe so much in conspiracy theories, and it's probably not going to change anytime soon. Have a good one, folks. Take care of each other. Stay safe. Catch you later.